Welcome to another video. Today we are going to talk about another high growth business that is Pinterest, ticker symbol PINS. Year to date, the stock has lost about 17% so far. Pinterest reported its earnings on July 29th, and right before the market closed, Pinterest dropped 6%. And after it reported its earning, it dropped another 19%. So there was about a 25% dip within a span of few hours. Now this made my eyes and ears pop up because Pinterest is a very solid brand, and generally you do not see this kind of volatility in such an established brand. Prior to earning, Pinterest has a market cap of $47 billion and the current market cap is about $37 billion. So you're looking at $10 billion shaved off within a span of few weeks. The way to look at Pinterest is something very similar to Google, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. And what I mean by that is that there is some kind of a viewing, clicking, or some user action involved either on the website or the app. To understand what Pinterest does, here's a quick short clip. Now that you have a decent idea of what Pinterest does, basically a user will pin an idea on a board which will create a database of ideas which other users can take inspiration from. This is a home screen of Pinterest, and basically these are all boards where you can go to any board you may like and check out these ideas. So this is a board where it will also give you a link on how you can go to this board and to the website from where this image was pinned on Pinterest. This is a general idea of how a Pinterest home screen will look like. You can search for any topic you like and you can find ideas and inspiration. So for example, if I want to do a home renovation, so let's say if I do home renovation and I type here home renovation, I'll get a ton of ideas on how you can renovate your home. So this is what generally users do. They go on Pinterest, either they build their own boards or they get inspiration from different boards and build a design. So that was a general overview of what Pinterest is as a company, what basically their product services are. Let's jump into their quarterly 2 earnings report and see what was the reason why we had such a big drop. The 3 takeaways from their earnings report were as follows. Number 1, the quarter 2 revenues grew 153% to $613 million. Number 2, the global average monthly user grew 9% year over year to 454 million users across the world. However, the US monthly average users shrunk from 96 million users to 91 million users. Now, this was one of the main reasons why we had such a big overreaction on the Pinterest stock. The analysts were expecting 96.1 million user base, whereas, however, Pinterest lost about 5 million users from its existing database. Now, here's a quick look at their quarterly 2 earnings report. What we see in the revenue section, that the revenue has been steadily growing year over year. From a global standpoint, they had 125% year over year. Internationally, they made 227%, whereas US, they increased 107% year over year. Revenue wise, the company is on a great trajectory. This is where we see the big overreaction in case of the monthly active users. As you can see right now that in quarter 1 2021, they had about 98 million user group. It dipped 9% almost to 91. That was a big drop. And if you compare quarter 2 of 2020, it was 96 million. So within the year of 2021, you have lost about 7 million. And from year over year, you have lost 5 million. There are many reasons behind it. Number 1, that in 2020, it was a year of lockdown where most of the people around the world and in US were in lockdown. So they were coming up with more ideas. They had more time to stay at home. In 2021, things are much better, where a lot of companies have opened up, people have gone back to work, so we can understand why this drop in monthly average users have happened. Last year, Q2 2020 in the US, they made about $2.50 per user. That was an average revenue per user. They have more than doubled it to $5.08. And this is exactly the reason, even though their user base has dipped, they have increased their revenue per user. This is the reason why we have 103% of revenue growth in the US, and internationally we have about 163%. As you can see over here, that US is the main market for Pinterest because you bring way more revenue average per user compared to $1.32 from a global standpoint. Internationally, Pinterest is only bringing 36 cents average revenue per user, which is way less than what they bring in the US. The cost of revenue actually dropped, the R&D expenses went up, the sales and marketing, so which means that to bring more revenue to the platform, they spend way more money on the sales and marketing, which I foresee is going to be a static cost moving forward as well, that they will be spending way more money to bring that revenue per user. Because to maintain this growth, if the average user count continues to decline in US, they will have to raise the revenue per user to keep the richly premium valuation of the company intact. The stock has dipped below its 50-day moving average. It has dipped below its 100-day moving average. It has dipped below its 300-day moving average just on Friday. And it's sitting right around 5606. The RSI is right around the 30 mark, which means that it is towards a very oversold territory. So I foresee that in the next week or so, unless there's a major negative catalyst, I do foresee that there will be some buyers stepping it at this point in time. However, all is not lost, because based on Sestrian Capital research on Seeking Alpha, they say we rate Pinterest at buy on fundamentals. They say the Pinterest fundamentals are superb and the valuation is low. We think right now the stock offers a rare opportunity to buy into a high growth, cash generative leader in consumer internet at an attractive entry price. We believe the sell-off post-earning is misguided and the stock has major upside potential ahead. We rate the stock at a buy as a result and have started buying in staff personal accounts. Now, one of the bullish reasons they talk about is that they mention that the EBITDA margin is about 24% for Pinterest and is generating an unleveraged pre-tax free cash flow margins of 15%. So based on this, the fundamentals are definitely looking very good for this company. The company has a 2.1 billion cash and marketable securities on hand with no debt. Now, whenever I hear this, that the company has no debt and has a lot of cash, it kind of reminds me of Apple, with sitting with a $200 billion cash reserve. And for a company, if you have cash reserves with you and you really don't have a debt, I consider that company to be in a very healthy status. If you are getting into Pinterest, even though it falls in the same category of Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat, it serves a completely different purpose. And I don't really see any other social media app to come and replace this anytime soon. 54 and 47 are the most solid support levels for this stock. So as you may know, that Pinterest is part of my public portfolio. If you have not seen that, I'll put the link in the description here, as well as it will be right here. So let me know in the comments, do you own Pinterest or do you own any of these other competitor stocks in your portfolio, and why? If you got any value out of today's content, don't forget to hit that like button, click on subscribe, and ring that bell notification. I'll see you next time, my investor family, but don't forget to invest for tomorrow.